Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. In the innate primordial camp, within the towering Great Hall, the thoughts of the 9 emperors descended one by one. The battle between Luong and Shoju, did you all see it? The infinite snake ancestor spoke. That blade strike was truly terrifying, lamented the silent extinction ancestor. After Luong fully mastered the primordial blade path, he unleashed a terrifying strike by combining 2 primordial level Daos. That strike pierced through 3 layers of the abyss of destruction, astonishing many ancient beings. In history, there has never been a one-on-one killing of an ancestor, said the infinite snake ancestor. But Luong's offensive power has surpassed that of Starlight and Shoju. He stands at the highest level of the entire endless primordial space. I have a premonition that he has the potential to kill an ancestor one-on-one. Ancestors who have lived till now are not so easy to kill, spoke the mother of spacetime. At least in some future possibilities she saw, there was no scenario where an ancestor was killed one-on-one. To become an ancestor, one's life core has evolved to a level akin to the source world origin, possessing extremely strong life-preserving methods. Taking as an example the 3 former lords of the Blood Crane territory, the Blood Lord mastered the highest level blood power, able to transform into a blood sea, with energy reserve and life recovery abilities, only slightly weaker than Luong. The Crane Lord mastered Undying Power, a weakened version of Yuan. The Shadow Lord mastered Shadow Power, also difficult to deal with. These 3 were considered ordinary among many ancestors, unqualified to occupy any layer of the abyss of destruction, nor qualified for a seat in the land of eternity. As for some who are more formidable, like the Lotus Prison Mountain Master, even with all 8 cultivator camp lords attacking together, they can at most force him into a disordered retreat. Those even more formidable are truly undying and undying. As for those with severe life preservation deficiencies, such are rare. Throughout the long years of conflict among various forces, these kinds of ancestors are the first to be eliminated. The innate primordial camp, Ice Peak camp, and some previous powerful forces have all witnessed the fall of many ancestors. Mother of Spacetime, did you see it? Inquired the giant god emperor. In some future visions I've seen, there's no image of a one-on-one killing of an ancestor, said the mother of Spacetime. But as soon as he cooperates with Starlight, or he cooperates with Yuan, they can slay an ancestor. I've seen this future possibility. The other 8 felt a sudden tension. In the past, it was typically large-scale wars that led to the fall of ancestors. 2 lords joining forces can assassinate an ancestor, the inference fire ancestor expressed worry. Luong can suppress all life fluctuations, as can Starlight and Yuan. Suppressing all fluctuations makes it very difficult for the ancestors' many sensing secret techniques to detect anything. Because secret techniques that probe causality and vitality are too difficult to avoid. However, the cultivator lords are existences that have mastered the primordial level Dao. Luong, Starlight, Yuan, and Mo Man, these 4 can completely conceal themselves, making it impossible for the same level to detect them. Wulan, Jin, Ming Huang, and Nai Jiyu, those 4, on the other hand, cannot hide themselves. Previously, they couldn't launch sneak attacks. Because even if Starlight, Yuan, and Mo Man joined forces, the resulting force would find it difficult to eliminate an ancestor quickly. I could immediately descend through the infinite world to provide support, stated the infinite snake ancestor. ssnovelfire.net. The infinite great serpent clan can all descend through the infinite world, which is their unique characteristic. Indeed, continued the mother of spacetime, but the offensive power unleashed by Luong is too terrifying. By himself, he can destroy the majority of an ancestor's power. The Starlight Lord and Lord Yuan only need to pursue and kill the remaining power. Therefore, any collaboration between Luofeng and Yuan, or Starlight, can potentially kill an ancestor in a short time. Starlight and Yuan are both very adept at pursuing and killing the remaining power. The era has changed. The rise of Luofeng signifies the entry of the entire endless primordial space into a new era, stated the mother of spacetime. In this new era, the fall of ancestors becomes easier. All the 9 emperors understood that in past eras, it was only occasionally in large-scale wars that ancestors fell. But from now on, any collaboration between Luofeng and Yuan, or Starlight, can suppress all fluctuations, appearing beside an ancestor without any forewarning. Assassinating an ancestor in a short time. Our strategy for dealing with the cultivator camp should also change, said the infinite ancestor solemnly. Although it was undying and undying, it did not want to see the innate primordial camp weakening. When the camp weakens, it means fewer resources owned. As one of the 9 emperors, it would also receive fewer resources. Giant God Emperor, if you still refuse to act, once the entire camp weakens, the resources for your giant god race cannot be ensured. The infinite snake ancestor looked at the giant god emperor. Surely we can't be the ones fighting desperately while you enjoy the resources, right? The giant god emperor nodded slightly. I understand. Our giant god race will not shirk responsibility. The giant god race boasts more than 10 ancestors, plus numerous world-level and high-level primordial level races. As the second largest race in the entire camp, their resource consumption is enormous. In future wars, the strategy should change as well, the initial suddenly suggested. I suggest focusing on preservation, with killing as a secondary objective. I agree, said the mother of spacetime. In previous wars, we always aimed to kill the enemy. And we treated the cultivator camp as a grindstone, occasionally losing 1 or 2 ancestors, considering it as weeding out the weak. Future battle arrays need to focus more on ancestors with strong defensive capabilities, taking them as the core. Only by doing so can we guarantee absolute superiority, said the mother of spacetime. With a battle array primarily focused on killing, by aligning several ancestors, who can perform soul attacks simultaneously, this kind of arrangement enhances attacking power, but severely weakens life preservation capabilities. For example, using ancestors who have mastered the highest level life power, defense power, water power, earth power, power of the world, power of matter, and domain power as the core, to ensure they are unshakable, the mother of spacetime spoke, reflecting on some future possibilities. Although what it had seen was far less than the starlight. At least seeing some successful directions can help avoid many detours. An ordinary cultivator lord can generally match 2 or 3 ancestors working together. Before the cultivator camp, 7 lords united, bolstered by Yuan's formations to multiply their battle strength, yet they were at an absolute disadvantage. They relied on starlight to observe countless future possibilities, Yuan's formations for sustenance, and the intricate cooperation of the lords' dows, with defense as the main strategy, occasionally retaliating. Even so, they repeatedly failed, and territories fell one by one. After Luofeng became a lord, the giant god emperor and 2 of his companions joined the battle. The 3 of them directly captured Luofeng, while the infinite snake ancestor trapped Wulan. Only Luofeng's origin great destruction caused damage, and induced panic among some ancestors. They felt that it wasn't worth risking their lives to fight against a group of undying and eternal lords for merely 3,600 world groups, resulting in a ceasefire. If we don't ensure the ancestors' safety, I'm afraid many of the weaker ones will refuse to participate in the war, said the silent extinction ancestor. I never thought we would also be forced to prioritize survival in setting up our battle array, lamented the inference fire ancestor. Who were they? They were the first major camp, occupying half of the endless primordial space. The cultivator camp, Ice Peak camp, and numerous scattered forces combined to occupy the other half of the territory. The cultivators have established their foundation, said the infinite snake ancestor. From now on, they will surpass the Ice Peak camp and become our greatest adversary. The Ice Peak camp, even with 12 undying and eternal beings, also had an additional 26 ancestors. Yet, for the born primordial camp with over 120 ancestors, the current threat from the cultivator camp was greater. Countless innate primordial lives will continuously emerge as world-level primordial, even ancestors, said the mother of spacetime. As long as we prioritize survival and value each ancestor's life, it will become extremely difficult for the cultivator camp to kill even one ancestor. In the endless long years that can be foreseen, we will continue to be the most formidable force. It cannot be suppressed any longer. The undying and eternal beings of the Ice Peak camp realized this the moment they witnessed Luofeng's blade. At this moment, the cultivator camp officially surpassed the Ice Peak camp. What a terrifying blade! The Blood Lord, Crane Lord, and Shadow Lord of the Blood Crane Territory clan watched this battle from afar. They had enmity with Luofeng. First, the Shadow Lord led his followers to plunder the cultivator territory. Then Luofeng forcibly refined the Blood Crane territory and seized it. Their enmity was irreconcilable. Although our survival ability is strong, the Blood Lord watched from afar. Now Luofeng is too terrifying. If 5 or 6 cultivator lords teamed up to encircle and kill us, they could succeed. We must align with a faction. Previously, relying on their strong survival ability, they hadn't hurried to join any faction. Indeed, we must join a faction. The Crane Lord and Shadow Lord agreed, as Luofeng was now much more terrifying, and when he refined the Blood Crane territory. Had they known Luofeng would become so fearsome, the Shadow Lord would have never dared to plunder the cultivator camp's territory. The innate primordial camp is the strongest and has always invited us, the Blood Lord said. Let's join the innate primordial camp. They are mortal enemies with the cultivator camp, and will surely protect us, the Shadow Lord agreed. With their decision made, soon they led the entire Blood Crane Territory clan to seek refuge with the innate primordial camp. The innate primordial camp, building their battle formations with survival first, naturally welcomed the ancestors with strong survival abilities, such as the Blood Lord and his companions, with open arms. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luofeng was unaware that his blade had carved out a new era. His unparalleled power above Shoju made ordinary ancestors gradually lose their sense of security. Indeed, as individual limits rise higher, the situation for ordinary ancestors becomes more perilous. In future years, ancestors will act more cautiously, unlike their current nonchalance. Even the most powerful innate primordial camp has chosen to establish ancestor battle formations with survival first, underscoring the perceptiveness of these ancestors. Shoju, thanks. Luofeng exited the 27th layer, his figure like a blade cutting through the temporal barriers, arriving at the 28th layer of the abyss of destruction. Shoju gazed into the 28th layer, where the combined might of 30 world envoys was terrifying. Both Shoju and Starlight had tried in vain to penetrate this layer. However, Luofeng, wielding a blade light strong enough to destroy everything, effortlessly slashed through all the world envoy barriers, easily leaving a life imprint on the shadow of origin, at the 28th layer. After mastering the 28th layer, Luofeng did not rush to push further, but instead settled there to create a complete combat technique based on his primordial blade path. At this moment, the 7 Avatar Lords at the Land of Origin smiled brightly. The era has changed, said Starlight, smiling. From now on, the offensive and defensive stances have completely switched. I think, with the strength of our cultivator camp, the 3,600 world groups are too few, Lord Nai Jiu said with deep green skin. We can now definitely command 8,000 world groups. Oh, Nigu, don't you often say wars can be lost? Jin swung his tail covered in scale armor slowly and chuckled sneakily. And now you're the first to call for war. I always felt that strength and territory should match, Lord Nigu said. Before Luo Feng appeared, we 7 lords were indeed weak, unable to even contend with the Ice Peak camp, let alone the innate primordial camp. And indeed, the result of the fight was as expected, with world group after world group faltering. It's not that we wanted war. It was the innate primordial camp that wanted to eradicate our foundation, Yuan said. We had no choice but to fight. I understand, it's all because we were weak. Even if we're willing to compromise, they want to uproot us, Nigu smiled. But it's different now. Luo Feng has mastered 2 primordial level Daos. And their life and destruction, both extremely adept in battle. A single lord like him is equal to 2 Shoju. Our overall strength has surpassed the Ice Peak camp, and can pose a certain threat to the innate primordial camp. The innate primordial camp occupies 50% of the endless primordial space. Ice Peak camp also occupies 20%, yet we hold just 10%. It doesn't match our strength at all, Nigu said. The endless primordial space also has many dark desert territories, with resources nearly negligible. The innate primordial camp occupying 50% territory refers to the valuable territories. Our 10% of the territory is the most densely packed with source worlds, Wulan said. Simply in terms of the number of source worlds, it's much more than the Ice Peak camps. Everyone, please don't rush, Yuan spoke. Everyone looked at Yuan. They were still willing to listen to Yuan. My primordial rule operation path is not far from a breakthrough, Yuan smiled. We will make decisions after my breakthrough. Breakthrough. Ming Huang, Mo Man, Jin, Wulan, and others were somewhat excited. The lords all knew well that currently, in terms of direct combat, Luo Feng is the fiercest and strongest. When it comes to mastering time and space without errors, it's naturally Starlight's forte. But regarding the importance to the entire camp, Yuan is the most important. His formation can combine the primordial level Daos of each lord to form a perfect battle array, boosting the overall strength several times. Allowing the lords to counter the massive armies of the innate primordial camp, without fearing the army of the Ice Peak camp. How long? Jin asked eagerly. As little as tens of thousands of epochs, or as much as millions of epochs, Yuan said. The hearts of the lords present rejoiced. Being able to state a precise timeline means Yuan has full confidence in a breakthrough. Tens of thousands to millions of epochs. Such a time is trivial to the lords. Then we shall wait, Ming Huang said. After Yuan's breakthrough, our overall strength will be even stronger, and the resistance encountered during territory expansion will be much reduced. Starlight watched this scene unfold. Luo Feng has finally become the strongest in direct combat in the endless primordial space, and elder brother Yuan is about to break through. Everything seems perfect, Starlight thought. But in reality, in the vast years to come, there's no possibility of a new lord breaking through. In countless future timelines, many of his avatars roam and observe. It can be confirmed that the current world-level primordial lives in the cultivator camp have no hope of achieving lordship. Those invincible beings within the braided cage, brought to the initial world, even compared to Nigu, let alone Luo Feng, fall far short, without hope either. The 9th Lord is far, far away. Because of the recent continuous improvement of the camp's strength, every one of them is brimming with fighting spirit. Luo Feng has previously intercepted all world-level primordials devouring source worlds. His ambition might fear larger, Starlight sighed secretly. But even if more territories are taken, they still need to be defended. With just 8 lords, how much territory can they defend? Starlight gazed upon the scene. No matter what, with a powerful external enemy, the Lords can also set aside their differences and unite. The days when the Lords are united are quite good. Starlight cherishes this time dearly. Beside the Origin continent Origin world, within the mysterious land Blood Crane territory, Luong was in retreat, creating combat techniques. On one hand, he occasionally needed to test techniques, and in the abyss of destruction, it was easy to penetrate 2 or 3 layers of destruction world. On the other hand, to create combat techniques, naturally, secrecy is needed. Within the Blood Crane territory he controlled, privacy from all probing was achieved. Boom tilde tilde tilde. A terrifying destructive momentum erupted deep within the Blood Crane territory. Repeated Origin destructions, with some powers already surpassing the might Luong exhibited during the camp war with Origin Great Destruction. Forget flexibility, pursue ultimate power. Luong desired to merge the primordial life and death Tao, primordial blade path, and create suitable combat techniques. The first set of techniques to create was the primordial destruction battle technique, which had shown remarkable results in the past. Luong's current energy utilization had greatly improved, allowing a single power to produce greater destructive force. Even the destruction caused by working a formation of 3.6 billion origins was nothing less than the previous Origin Great Destruction. Time passed, and after spending over 300 epochs, the first set of primordial battle technique was completely perfected. This set of techniques is divided into 9 techniques. The first 3 are commonly used lethal moves, each of which can be performed every 1 or 2 moments. But the later 6 techniques explode in different ways, with 1.08 billion origins, all considered forbidden techniques. Performing a forbidden technique once greatly reduces power. The power of the forbidden technique is 3 to 4 times that of the past Origin Great Destruction. The previous Origin Great Destruction represented the limit of the endless primordial space's power, and Shoju's ultimate move reached about 70 to 80% of the initial strike by Luong. But now, is it 3 to 4 times stronger than before? From now on, what about group battles? I can crush a group of ancestors with a single strike. Luong's Origin battle technique system is aimed at group combats. Begin the next set of combat techniques. Luong began creating the second set of combat techniques, the life-cutting battle technique. This battle technique is silent, does not cut matter, does not cut energy, it only cuts the profound and mysterious vitality. The biggest flaw of the life-cutting battle technique is that the energy transfer limit through vitality is fixed. Luong can only find ways to enhance the destructive power of life-cutting. This battle technique seems to lack power, but it can have marvelous effects at critical moments. After more than 200 eras, the second battle technique was perfected. The third set of combat techniques, the shadow blade technique, the sword technique is like a shadow, it must hit. Because it seeks to ensure every hit, the power of the blade technique must be perfectly controlled, which also limits its power. This blade technique can strike enemies from extremely long distances. Separated by several world groups, Luong can still strike. Of course, the further the distance, the higher the difficulty, and the lower the power of the blade technique. But the vast range of this blade technique can serve many purposes. It's extremely difficult for the enemy to completely escape Luong's pursuit range. The fourth set of combat techniques, the destruction blade technique. This is a close-range blade technique. It doesn't seek to hit, but to destroy everything around. When the distance is relatively close, there is no need to worry about hitting, just cover the entire area. Everything within a certain range is annihilated. A strand of fluctuation merged into the entire endless primordial space's fluctuations, drifting along for endless years, sensing everywhere, understanding and feeling the various aspects of the endless primordial space from the perspective of a single fluctuation. Suddenly, a special fluctuation appeared. A wisp of fluctuation transformed into a tall and thin man in a black cloak. He is Lord Mo-Man. Lord Mo-Man carefully sensed this special fluctuation, his eyes lit up. Among countless fluctuations, this special fluctuation blended in, seeming unremarkable. But Mo-Man, who mastered the primordial fluctuation Tao, understood the extraordinariness of this special fluctuation. I've finally waited for it. Lord Mo-Man smiled. Luo Feng, the fluctuation land has appeared, we need to set off immediately. Lord Mo-Man transmitted the message from afar, you can set off now, right? Within the Blood Crane territory. Luo Feng had been in seclusion here creating combat techniques for over 900 eras, consecutively creating the Origin Battle Technique, Life-Cutting Battle Technique, Shadow Blade Technique, Destruction Blade Technique, and was now in the process of creating the 5th Combat Technique Clone Battle Technique, although this 5th technique was still under creation, with many imperfections. Of course I can set off. Luo Feng immediately responded. He had promised Mo-Man long ago, and his combat technique system was relatively complete, just the right opportunity to test his methods. Good. Lord Mo-Man was overjoyed. Let's meet at the mysterious land Flame Mountains near the Abyss of Destruction. I'll set off now. Luo Feng was straightforward. The avatar at the 28th layer of the Abyss of Destruction immediately absorbed energy and grew to the main battle avatar level, also carrying 2 suitable weapons. He set off promptly. During his exploration of the Abyss of Destruction, Luo Feng had accumulated a total of 15 weapons, all on the same level as the sky-splitting saber. Although he could exchange the destruction fruits in the Mountain of Destruction for sufficiently powerful weapons, Luo Feng was not in a hurry. He wanted to accumulate more destruction fruits for better treasures. Who? Luo Feng's main battle avatar left the Abyss of Destruction, traveling with the aid of the Blood Crane territory's power. He reached the Flame Mountains in just one day. The vast and continuous flaming mountains before him distorted space, with energy flowing like water, presenting a rather unique scenery. Of such flame-type mysterious lands, 7 have been discovered to date, with the strongest undeniably being the Fire Prison Wall, an enormous mysterious land stretching about 100 world group lengths. By comparison, the Flame Mountains are quite ordinary, comparable to the Blood Crane territory. The Fluctuation land, I've never heard of it before. Even Mo-Man, who masters the primordial fluctuation Tao, discovers it only once in about 100,000 eras. It seems very unusual. Luo Feng was quite curious. Google search novel times phi times net. Luo Feng. Finally, accompanied by a voice, the black-cloaked Lord Mo-Man descended and appeared. Thank you for this. Lord Mo-Man said with a smile. He always lacked a helper like Luo Feng. With Luo Feng's presence, he could repeatedly use the forbidden techniques of his primordial fluctuation Tao, hoping to explore the fluctuation land in greater depth. It's nothing. Luo Feng smiled, asking curiously, where is the fluctuation land? Follow me. Mo-Man smiled, and a wisp of fluctuation wrapped around Luo Feng, and they both vanished into thin air. This video will end here.